Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and Pet Perennials. How do we design core values that are more than just things on our website or in a training manual? How do we make them mean something to our employees and to our clients? And how do we live those out? Well, we're really excited to have Amy Munns, owner of Leash for Lease. I practiced that name about 4 times, so I didn't get tongue-tied to do this. But Amy's on the show to talk about her journey in pet care and how she's developed this and overcome challenges in her business. Amy, it's my immense pleasure to have you on the show. For those who aren't familiar with your business and everything that you're doing, please tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. Thank you so much, Colin. It's so great to be here today. So like you said, my name is Amy Munns, and I own and operate Leash for Lease. Yeah, it is a bit of a tongue twister. My husband came up with the name. And professional pet care. We offer daily dog walking and vacation pet care. So we, like many of your listeners, go into people's homes to take care of animals while they're away for long days or, away on business or travel, like totally away from the house. We started right in 2001, about a month before 9/11,
Wow.
which was kind of started our business and so exciting. And then 9/11 hit and we were kind of like, oh, what have we done? But it started off and it's been great. We've had so much fun through the years. The people and the animals that we've met, just who's either been on my team or our clients, they've just been so wonderful. It's just been a great opportunity and experience.
Well, 24 years ago, what got you started in this and started down this journey?
Oh, sure. So where we live in Northwest Washington, outside of Seattle. But if you're familiar with Seattle or the Washington state, it has like a peninsula off to the northwest side. So we're actually like a ferry ride away, a 35-minute ferry ride away from Seattle. And I went to school at the University of Washington, and then I got a job downtown Seattle, which is really common. People commute. They'll take they live all over and they'll commute into the city. So we'll, it was about an hour and a half commute one way just to get to my office. So quite a long day. And at the time, my husband was also in the Navy, which is this area where we live is a big Navy community. He was a submariner out of Bangor, Washington, naval base out here. And so when he would be on deployments and I was commuting into Seattle for my job, I was hiring my neighbors or friends or different people to come over and let my dogs out. At the time, I had 2 dogs, let them out during the day because there was just no way to get that day under 12 and a half hours. It was just a really long day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long commute. I got a lot of reading done. That's when Oprah had her, her book club was super popular. I think I read everything on Oprah's list those years. But and at the time I was working in recruiting and kind of at a temporary services place where we would put temporary employees on jobs, at companies whenever they might need a temporary employee, admin support type stuff. And the job just kind of got old and boring, and then the commute got old and boring, and it wasn't as fun. So I talked to my husband and I said, hey, I can't be the only one who has dogs and needs midday walks or midday visits. And I said, I think that there's something here we could do. I'm not saying I invented pet sitting, but it wasn't popular at the time. 2001, were you even born yet, Colin?
I was born. Okay. I was born.
No, just kidding.
But good check. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just think back, like, the internet was still new. Not everybody had cell phones were still new. We definitely didn't have smartphones. I'm trying to think. Like, email wasn't popular. Everything was done on the phone and everything was done by paper. So we just didn't know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I talked to my husband about getting started and how we were going to do this. And I remember him telling me, okay, but this is not some high school gig where you're just taking care of dogs. And I said, no, this is, my vision was, and always has been, professional. This is we're not cutesy. We're not I don't know what other word to use except cutesy. Like that's you can get, pets can get kind of cutesy in your marketing or what have you. No, we wanted it to look tailored. We wanted it to look professional. And back then there wasn't software yet. There wasn't any of those kinds of things, but we always try to make our paperwork and our forms and everything look as professional as possible. And then as time's gone on, we've evolved into it's amazing where the pet sitting field has evolved and developed into. It's exciting and amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, first, I've got a comment that I always forget that the Northwest Ferry System is the largest ferry system in the United States, and I'm always blown away by that because it's just landlocked here in Missouri. I never remember that kind of stuff goes on, so it's neat to hear that, and I've long dreamed of going and riding on one of those ferries, but to hear that you really started from a point of empathizing with the clients, right? Of you were experiencing this problem. You felt these pain points. Like that really does change how, and it sounds like your approach to what you would want to offer and also have offered to you.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly where, and I say that all the time. And where we started, like I knew I wasn't the only person who had the situation, right? Like on the ferries. And if you ever do get to come out and ride one of the ferries or come in the area, and that is one of the highlights. It is that made the commute not so bad because we're not sitting in a car where we were able to. You could get a beer, you could have a snack, you met friends. People had friends that you make lifelong friends there just commuting every day. So anyway, so if you ever do get a chance to experience one of our ferries out here, they are pretty fun. Yeah. They're a tourist attraction for sure. But back to that. Just talking with people that I was commuting with or working with, they had animals too. And what do you do with your animal all day long? Oh, they're lonely at home, or they're, sitting cross-legged waiting for me to come home kind of thing. So, or they would have their neighbors and friends come over and let their dogs out kind of thing.
Well, I know you're really big about your core values, and I know that's something that you've worked hard on. When did you start developing those in your business?
Well, I think I started more with my personal core values. And I don't know if I called them back then. I kind of just said I have some rules for myself. And then I just developed. And then I worked with a coach during COVID. And then she and I worked on some company or defining core values. I think I always kind of had them, but I didn't actually write them down and really define them, what they were. Yeah. So I could share my personal core values with you.
Yeah, I do. I love the rules for myself, and I think that kind of viewpoint really helps. At least me go. These are rules. These aren't just guidelines. These aren't just nice principles. Like when I say these are rules for me of how I act, how I respond, how I do things, that really does change, I think, the seriousness of it. It kind of adds a little bit more gravity to it. So I love that phrase is what I wanted to jump in and say.
Great.
But
I feel the same.
Hear how you, starting with those, kind of how those came about and then transitioned into your business.
I think just kind of working, like as you grow and mature and have different experiences in your life, that's where you kind of come up with your rules or your core values, whatever you would like to call them. I don't think that anything on my list are finite. I feel like it's an organic list that can use tweaking or additions, or even if it's like, that's not as important to me anymore. I don't see that though, but maybe just adding to it. But my very first one, my personal rule is keep it. I have 3, and I just try to keep it simple. That would be my first one. So keep it simple, right? Like just don't overcomplicate things. And that even goes to like setting your rules and your boundaries. Like you don't have to have 12 rules or 12 commandments or whatever you want to call them. Right. Like they're, in my opinion, this is all me personally too, right? This all works for everybody individually, how they make it work. But one of my things is, definitely keep it simple. Just don't, if a recipe takes 6 ingredients, don't add 2 more, right? Like if it's good enough, or if it's good at that basic level or that simple level, sometimes just less is more kind of thing. That, I guess that's, And then if I roll that's not one of my named or what have you, company values, but if I were to just kind of adopt that into it, keeping it simple just for my company, just things like we offer two services. We offer dog walking and pet care. And not pet care, like vacation pet care is what I mean. Yeah. The distinctions there. We don't, I think we'd prefer to go deep rather than wide, if that makes sense. Like really do the simple things and the few things that we do really well instead of doing a lot of stuff that we can't really focus on.
I love how that principle of keep it simple can really be taken in those two ways, right? You said, one, I'm going to do things that limit my amount of attention and things that call on me, right? I'm going to keep my life simple. I'm going to keep my priorities simple. I'm going to keep my list of simple things simple. Yeah. And also, when you do that, like for the business, you are able to go deep. You are able to really dig into every aspect. And it is kind of, I know some people get I think can feel constricted by that because they can go, what do you mean? Like I've done dog walking for 10 years now. I know everything about it. And I really think what it just takes is that, well, let's just look one more layer deeper. Let's look at this corner. I haven't focused on this yet. Let me learn about this. It really allows you a lot of depth of knowledge, experience and professionalism that you can then bring to your clients to go, no, literally I've studied every aspect of this.
Right.
And it's great to have.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I think so. And I know like, I've met other people and their focus is more, might be on nutrition or educating about other things about pet care or pet things. I just feel like you're saying, I just want to go deep into it and just do what we do really, really well. And it doesn't have to, we don't have to be the end all be all for everybody. We provide really good, reliable pet care and dog walking services. And that's what we do. And that's what we're known for.
And that is hard, I will say, from a business owner perspective, when clients don't use me for the service that I offer because, it can be disheartening. Let's say you only offer dog walking and then you get that client who contacts you and says, well, I need pet sitting. Mm-hmm. It's really tempting to go, well, okay, well, I'll do pet sitting this one time because I don't want to lose you as a client. Right. And then maybe we'll do the dog walking. Like that really is a boundary that you have to set up and go, no, my area of expertise, my excellence is over here. Right. And it's okay if people don't want to use me for that service. That's okay. We do have to at some point be fine with that.
Right. Exactly. I agree. Yeah. We get a lot of, it's hard too for my team sometimes because they'll be like, oh, can we do this too? Or what have you? I'm like, nope. Like, especially overnights, I'll just say we used to do overnights. We don't anymore. It's hard. It burns out my team and you can't pay people appropriately. I mean, the way the structure's set up anymore, but, sometimes we'll still get requests for that and it's heartbreaking. And like, yes, we want to be there for you. But unfortunately we can't offer that like legally or, financially, we can't offer it. But also we don't have the people on my team that, but we're still torn. So it is kind of hard. Like you have to, and that's where you have to kind of stay focused. Like, nope, we will definitely come in. We have great success coming in multiple times a day and visiting your animals. We have 24 years of doing that. And they do great. They're still in their home. They're still safe. They know their routine. They know their surroundings. And we come in and do everything we can during our time there. Unfortunately, we just can't spend the night. Right.
Yeah. And then that, what that leads into is like, as you've just mentioned, of the messaging all has to be around why this is a benefit. What does this get to people? When you say keep it simple, that can kind of come across as a little like demeaning and a little condescending. And so we have to break from that, but also we can present it to clients of going, we are solely focused on exactly this one or maybe two things, which means you get the absolute best. Right. You don't want a generalist for these things. You want somebody with this experience and focus. And that does take a little bit of client education to understand, wow, I see why that is, and that just takes a little bit of time too.
Yeah. I like that. I don't want a generalist. That's awesome. I like that term. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Right. We're niche. We're a little boutique thing here, right? Like we offer these and we're really good at it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so your first one was keep it simple. What was number 2?
Okay. These are still personal, right? Trust my gut. And how many times do we say that just in our business world, we hear that a lot, trust your gut. And this can go both ways. I think that, like when I saw, like, I'll just personally, when I saw the house that we bought a new house about 5 years ago. I knew as minute I saw it, we weren't even in the house. We were just driving up in the driveway. And I was like, I want this house. Like, this is it. This is the house. I don't know what's inside, And I just knew in my gut, I knew, like, intrinsically, like, this is it. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about all kinds of things. Like, so in my business stuff, sometimes like I said, it goes both ways. Sometimes you can be interviewing a new client or a new employee, let's say, or potential employee. And, you just know, like, it just hits, right? Like, oh, I just think this person's going to be great. I have a really good feeling about this person. On the flip side, sometimes you're talking to somebody and they're answering all the answers correctly and they're saying all the right words. This is for, like, employees, and they're saying all the right things, but there's something in you that's like, it's just not there. Trust that. And how many times do we act on it and say, oh, I felt something. I wish I had acted on that feeling. So it's really hard, and it's hard. You have to remind yourself. And that's one thing that's probably of all of my core values. I did quote Marx, but they're not really, they are my core values. This is probably the one that I probably try to remind myself of the most. Like, don't forget to trust your gut, to really, trust that feeling.
And that does take time to develop that instinct and that trust in ourselves, because especially when we're starting off in a new venture of, maybe it's my first time hiring somebody, or maybe I'm just starting out in business and I don't know how to read clients, or I don't know this, or I don't know that. I think what's important to know is you're going to miss sometimes. You're going to misinterpret the gut instinct, and that's going to be okay, because you need to be building confidence in yourself to make that decision. Otherwise, you never will. And then you will look up and go, I knew I should have said no to that client. And now here I am a year into this. And this is terrible, right?
Yeah,
you do have to build that confidence.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's easy for me to say, like, it's my birthday on Thursday. I'm be 53.
Oh,
and I've been doing
birthday.
This. Oh, thank you. And I'll be doing this for almost 25 years. So it's easy for me to say, oh, I've got all this experience. I just trust my gut all the time. I know that feeling. Yeah. When you're brand new, but there's still something in us, right? There's still that nature in us that's just like, I don't know. And even if you don't act on that and you learn from it later, like, dang it, I wish I had just listened to my feelings. That's when you learn, and that's when you apply it for next time. Like, you know what? Something was telling me this is just a little bit off, or there's just something not quite right. I'm going to go with that feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
so it does. It takes time. It takes experience for sure.
Yeah. And it develops trust in ourselves, but I think importantly, it helps us empower ourselves. Many times we can feel like we have no agency, we have no ability to change things or make a better decision. But what this is reminding you and us, if we don't choose to do this, is like, no, you trust your gut. That's your job right now. You trust your gut. And yeah, you may miss sometimes, but you're also going to not miss, and you're going to save yourself a lot of headache later on. And it helps kind of regain some agency in our life too. Have you heard of Time to Pet? Doug from Bad to the Bone Pet Care has this to say.
Time to Pet has made managing my team and clients so much easier. Our clients love the easy-to-use app and scheduling features, and our sitters love being able to have all of their information organized and easily accessible. My favorite feature is the instant messaging. By keeping conversations on Time to Pet, we are able to monitor our team and ensure nothing ever falls through the cracks.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. Like, if you were to say, like, why didn't you act on that? Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel it. And then and then it's like, and then you just have to trust that, like, okay, and go with it. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about number 3? What's what on your personal list there?
A personal one. So I am a big fan of, have you ever heard of Gretchen Rubin? She's an author. She writes, she did about 10 or 15 years ago, she wrote, and this is what launched her, it was called The Happiness Project.
Yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, she did like 12 different things throughout the year she just wanted to find and define happiness in her life. Not that she was unhappy, but I think she just wanted to really discover if she was happy. Or how to share that or what have you. Anyway, one of her things in it was that she did come up with 12 commandments, which is kind of the same thing, or 10 commandments. I don't remember what she did, but one of her things was be Gretchen. And so I kind of stole that from her. And so now it's be Amy, right? Just be true to myself, be who I am, and not try to be somebody I'm not. Which I think now, if I think back, like we didn't have social media. I didn't have social media in my 30s. I didn't have, it's just kind of coming around, I guess. Now we live it. I mean, it's everywhere, and we see what everyone else is doing, and we compare ourselves so much more than we used to. And it's sometimes kind of hard to remember just who I am and what's important to me and my values and my family and what I want out of life and what I want out of my company. Going on, Facebook, within the pet sitter world, there's tons of not tons, but there's a few really good groups. You have a really good Facebook group, a lot of conversations and a lot of things. But you really can listen and hear what other companies are doing. And it could get kind of overwhelming or intimidating, like, oh, I only have 12 part-time employees and this company has 25, or this company has 45, or should I be doing more? Should I be offering more services? Should I be offering, what kind of am I, just the competition of it all? But the reality is I'm really happy with I have 11 employees. I'm really happy with the size of our team. I can manage that. I can stay in touch with everybody. Personally, the number of clients that I have, I could, I don't mean this bad, but I could probably grow big in our area if I were to just hit it hard. But I really like the size of the company that I am, that I like that I have a personal connection, that I talk with our clients, that I know that they're going to their son's wedding or their granddaughter was just born, or maybe it was a funeral they're going away for. I mean, we see home improvement. That's like one of my favorite things is when you walk into a house and you just see what they've done. Like, oh my gosh, look what you've done to this place. It's like a whole new place. Like, wow. But you get to really, like, it's personal and it's connection. And that's what I like. So I just try to remember to be myself, be Amy. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Just be true in yourself. Again, I'm in my 50s. I can say with confidence who I am now. Like, when you're young and you're getting started and you're learning and you're experiencing all the different new experiences, it can get really overwhelming. So kind of having some grounding and knowing who you are, I think, is really important.
Absolutely. And I know you went right to social media, and I think that it's both it's a blessing to be able to have that connection with others, but man, that can turn into a curse. It's just super quick, just one too many scrolls, and all of a sudden I find myself, and I've been struggling with that. I think this year more than ever, of that comparison game, that thinking game of, wow, look at what they're doing. They're doing all of that stuff. I don't even do half of that. And oh my gosh, they did what? What event did they put on? You're kidding me. What?
Yeah.
And then personally, it's looking at people and going, they're how far in their career? They took what vacation to Aruba? They did what this? What car did they just buy? Was this? That comparison game just ruins every day if you let it. And to sit back and I think this going, be Amy, like, be Colin, going, where am I now? And it's a reminder too to be present, to be thankful, content, and happy with what I have right now. Because that, if I can't be happy here, right, like no amount of anything extra is going to add to that. And I have to just be very it's a constant daily, hourly, minute my reminder sometimes. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, right. Or take a look at it and like, do I really like this part of this? Do I really like this? Maybe I need to make some changes here. Maybe I need to make some adjustments. Maybe this isn't really who I want to be or what I want to do. And then it's important to evaluate that too and see where I'm at kind of in my life and my goals and my focus kind of thing.
No, I really love those. So you said you started with the personal side and then you slowly translated those into the business. Is that right? A couple of years ago?
Yeah. During COVID, when COVID hit, we were all dead and nothing. And I was, I wanted to anyway, I was, 2000, well, that was 2020. So I was about 19 years old. Not me, the company was about 19 years old, or so. I was just kind of looking to clean up my company, kind of so I hired a coach to come in and just kind of take a look at my systems, kind of take a look at my just how things are set up and things like that. At that point, I think I used Time to Pet, the software, and I think I was 2 or 3 years in. So I kind of wanted to go through that process. Like, what does it look like when I onboard a new client? How does that look to somebody who's never done it before? And so she was a stranger. We went through the whole process kind of thing. And then we looked at kind of our employee side, and she helped me write an employee manual or a handbook. And in the beginning of it, she said, you need to put some core values down. So I just kind of defined some things that were really important to me that I think we'd been already practicing and living, but then just putting them down on paper to make sure that they're shared with everybody. That was that kind of process or that practice that came into. So now they're in my employee handbook. So all my new employees see them. I'm going to share this with my employees, this broadcast, and and they're all going to say, yeah, all my employees are like, yes, I remember reading all that, Amy. Thank you.
The quiz is coming. Just heads up.
Heads up, you guys.
But, it does. And you mentioned of how it was kind of stuff that you were already doing. And I think truthfully, when we sit down to write these core values, if we've never written them down before, I think if doing a few exercises to kind of comb through how you make decisions, the outcomes that you want, how you want people to be treated, you do quickly find that you're already operating in these. We're just clearly defining them, right? I think very rarely do we go, no, this is a brand new, never before lived, conceived, or thought of value in my company. And that's just because it's us too, right? It's us and how we want things to take place.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I was talking this kind of practicing with our conversation with my husband last night, and that came up. He was like, well, how do you define this, or how have you shared this with your team? And I think it's just that we just do, right? This is how we live. These are just our basics kind of thing, that this is just how we operate. But I do think having them written down, and maybe I need to be better about reminding myself and our team, like, hey, don't forget, this is what's important to us, and we are already living it, and this is why we've defined it this way, and just to kind of keep on that track.
Well, especially as new things come up, I think that's what Megan and I have discovered. It's very easy to define a set of core values or principles under a certain set of certain circumstances. But then as things change, as you encounter new problems, all of a sudden we get the job of going, okay, remember this value and how we, to this situation, here's how it applies. And here's why we're doing this the way we do to this brand new situation. The values didn't change, but this brand new situation came up, and it forces us to try and understand how we then apply that value to that situation. And I'm sure even after being in business for coming up on 25 years, right? Like, you're constantly finding new things and going, like, what do we do now?
Right. Yeah. That's funny enough. My second value is open-mindedness. I'll just jump right in. Yeah. That's my, just remaining open-minded to challenges or new opportunities or new, developments in technology or animal care, even just learning about them. So being in business almost 25 years, I know a lot. I'm I'm just going to toot my own horn. I feel very comfortable around dogs. I am very, I am confident in my knowledge on how to take care of dog, but that doesn't mean I know everything. And new things are being discovered or being tried and worked into the new, process or the new ways that we do things, So I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything and I'm done learning. That's not me. And so like me and my team and we attend training. I go to all the conferences. There's a couple that I attend to every year. And I mentioned those Facebook groups. You're right. They are a blessing. Boy, I've learned so much from those groups and the people that are in those groups. Just the different practices, not just animal care, but technology and other systems or what have you that are out there. So it's not just not just animal stuff. It's the whole company wide, like open-mindedness. That's
Well, man, because it can get really tempting to just go, well, book closed. I'm done. Especially if we have a business that is operating well and we have a team and things are kind of okay and they're driving and we're making money and we're kind of, growing a little bit. It's really easy to kind of get into that mode of, well, I guess I'm done. I've figured this out, right? See you later.
Yeah. Yeah. Or change your focus on something totally different. And then you kind of lose focus on, our company at hand or what have you kind of thing.
Right. And instead going, okay, again, this kind of be Amy, be Colin, be me in this moment. Okay, here I am now, but I need to be open-minded because what is going to be tomorrow? Right. And how do I prepare for that? I'll find myself on Facebook threads going, this doesn't apply to me at all, but I'm learning so much just by this discussion that's happening right now. Yeah, and I may encounter it later. I don't know, but at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, oh, how would I have handled that situation? Or sometimes I'll do that. I'll take it to my team and I'll say, hey, this was a discussion on a Facebook group. I just want to share what was said and what kind of things we were talking about. How would we have handled that differently? How can kind of that? So it kind of makes you think that way too.
I love that idea of taking and kind of doing a little bit of role playing with your team of going, look, I hope we never encounter this situation like this. Let's be very, but just have a discussion. And I'm sure that helps you too, Amy, go, okay, I thought they would thought they may have responded in XYZ way, but they're taking it down a completely different track, and that kind of helps you stay in touch that way too. Yeah,
right. And that kind of touches base like, what would our practices be in this situation? How would we have handled that? And does that line up with how we really would, how I feel that would be the best way to handle it? Or not, I trust my team and empower them, but like, is that aligned with our values kind of thing?
Yeah. Because again, we can't, it is a struggle as you bring on team members. We want them to be, I think that one of the first instincts when you do that is to bring on, you want little automatons to just be replicates of you in the field, doing everything that you did, exactly how you did, and quote unquote perfectly. Very quickly, we realize that's never going to happen, and that's okay, right?
Yeah.
And so we then start to embrace that individuality, but we have to have seated in a foundation of something of common values and interest, and those are what we're talking about here. And going, okay, how in alignment is everybody with these? And do we get a predictable and kind of consistent response from everybody once we put them in different situations? And that is an ongoing, never-ending process.
For sure. Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think, I tell my team all the time, like, oh, I've never had, like, for example, we just met these two, pulley dogs, Puli. Have you ever taken care of one of those?
We have not had that opportunity. No.
Us either. They're Hungarian herding dogs, and they're so cute. They're about 25 pounds. They're the ones with the dreadlocks that look like big mops.
Yes. Right? Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're adorable. And after 24 years, we just met them, and we just met one, or there's two of them. And we've never taken care of this breed before. They're not very common. She said they weren't very common in the States, but they're definitely not common here in Washington. I've never seen them out in the wild or what, you know what I mean? Like what other people, I've never taken care of one. So it's just really fun. So I shared that with team member who's going to be taking care of them. Sadly, I just got to meet him. She gets to take care of them, right? But I'm like, hey, this is a first for us. This is new to our portfolio. We've never taken care of these dogs, these types of dogs before. So, and that's just, so always share that, like that excitement too. That's kind of fun. Like, oh, hey, this is new. We're going to learn something new here today.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we had that happen with a client who reached out about a mini potbelly pig. Who lived in their house, right, and used they had a litter box and everything. And it was, we had our first one. It was 4 or 5 years ago. And we had never cared for one before, and it was like, this is exciting. Everybody gather around. Okay, we're going to be learning. We're going to be diving into this, learning about the care plans, how we're going to get this. And it did cause quite a bit of an excitement amongst the team about this really fun opportunity. And I think what I took from that was a reminder to try and find those opportunities in everything we do every day. Of every day's new. Every time we meet that dog, it's a new day, right? We're going to be dealing with new histories and new things that happened overnight and all sorts of stuff. And that to try and bring that excitement and that you said open-mindedness, like we have to bring that to every situation. That's an intentional choice that we have to bring every time that we show up.
Right. And like I've said this, and I say this a lot, like you can have a room full of yellow labs. And I love yellow labs. They're labs. I mean, is there anything wrong with a lab? They're perfect. I love them. But you can have a room full of yellow labs and you will have a room full of different personalities and different needs and different, whatever. Just because you know one dog, or just because I've been doing this for 24 years, like I haven't met every yellow lab out there. Maybe someday I will. But I just like every opportunity is new and every opportunity is different. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, so we jumped to number 2. Let's talk back to number 1 here for your list.
And I don't know if there's like ranking. It's just kind of how I have them listed.
Sure.
But yeah, our first one is honesty and reliability. Honesty and reliability. That's our, and we have that everywhere. We have that all over our social media. And our website and even our business cards. When I meet new clients, that's on there. It's in our service agreement. We talk about that with my team. We do what we're told. Do what we are hired to do with honesty. We're going to do it, and we're reliable. If we say we're going to take care of, if we commit to your job or your request, we're going to do it. And if that means somebody else has to kick in, if somebody gets sick or somebody else, what have you, we're going to do it. That doesn't mean that we're 100% available all the time. Sometimes it turns out that, I have 2 of my employees on vacation at the same time and in that area of town, and we're just not available, and that happens. It happens rarely, and we try not to make that happen or let that happen, but it does happen. So it's not that we're 100% a guarantee that we're always going to be available, but if we say we're going to do it, if we commit to that, we're doing it. We'll make it work. That's one thing I'm really proud of. We do what we say. And then honesty too. We're there. We're there for the time that you hire us. If you hire us, we have two visit links, either an hour or a half hour. If you hire us for a half hour, we're going to be there. We're not going to cut it short. Or if we're there for an hour and we're taking care of a shy cat and she doesn't come out, we're still going to be there for that whole hour and that cat's going to know that we're there calmly waiting for her to come out when she's ready.
Yeah, man, that's such a big thing. You mentioned that we're going to show up, right? Like it was the week in between. It was the week after Thanksgiving, and we still had a ton of vacation clients, and we had 2 of our employees come down with like the stomach bug, and they were just laid out, could not. And was it fun getting that taken care of? Absolutely not. Right. But did we have to turn away other client requests that we could have taken on? Yes, but we were committed to those, and we had to do what we had to do to get those done. And everybody understood, and everybody was okay and taken care of. But it was that reminder of, okay, I see a lot of people say reliability is important to me. Do you really understand what that means?
Right.
When push comes to shove, right? That's where we start going. okay, you promise them reliability. Are you going to follow through with that? And that's really where you start to see a lot of differences in really what these values mean to people and what they don't mean to people.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's been times I've had to cancel a vacation plan or a weekend plan or dinner plans, what have you, because some things come up. Luckily, we don't have a lot of that. We, my team's amazing, and I'm not just saying that because I'm hoping they're listening, but I say that to them all the time. They're so amazing. They make my job easy. But things come up. You never know. I had somebody she was in a minor car accident and we needed coverage. That kind of thing. Some people do get sick, or people, I was going to say that they go on vacation, but that's different. We plan for those things. So if that happens, then we have the other team or me or what have you that we fill in. We're not going to leave. We're not going to just say, oh, sorry, so-and-so sick. We're out and you're in, Hawaii on vacation. Yeah. We're still going to take care of your dog for you or your cat. Yeah.
Losing a pet is heartbreaking. And as pet sitters, we often want to do something special for our clients when they're grieving, but finding the right gift can be tough. That's where Pet Perennials comes in. Their direct-to-consumer gift model makes it effortless to send a thoughtful, personalized condolence gift on our behalf. Each package includes a handwritten card, colorful gift wrap, and shipping across the U.S. and Canada, so you can show you care. They also offer milestone gifts for birthdays, get-well wishes, and even special occasions for pet lovers, like weddings, engagements, and new adoptions. Want to make gifting easy? Sign up for a free Gift Perks business account to unlock discounted pricing with no monthly fees or minimum purchases. Learn more at petperennials.com, check out their business programs, or register now with the link in the show notes. And the honesty side of that too, of we've had to coach a lot of our employees, and it's hard for me too, whenever we have to share bad news or we have to share when something really didn't go well. I never like sharing it, but I have to remind myself that part of the reason we were hired was because we are professional and we are going to be honest. That our clients want that. I have to tell myself that. They want me to be honest, even though I don't want to be honest in that moment because it feels bad, or I don't want to disappoint somebody going, no, I have to tell them that this went poorly, or that, or that we have these XYZ concerns, because if I don't, nobody else will. And that's really what I have to remind ourselves and our team about too.
Yeah. We had a situation over the summer where we had to stop servicing taking care of a dog who kept. She's a border collie, kind of a little nervous, and she was big separation anxiety. So when her parents would leave, she was sad. She stayed outside in an enclosed pen. Now that it's safe. It was. And we're here in Washington. We don't have extreme weather, so it's always pretty mild temperatures out here. But she was nervous and she kept digging out and escaping. And this is where she would stay, like when her parents would go to the store or run an errand or what have you. So this was the norm. But she escaped 3 times, and we just said, nope, we will finish this job, but we can't do this anymore. And honestly, we aren't the best thing for her. She needs somebody there longer, or somebody there to spend the night with her and just be with her longer. The visits so in that situation, I had to be honest, and it was hard. It was a hard blow. Like, I don't ever like to say no, or I don't like to say that we are not the right fit for you. But I didn't want to just say, oh, the next time she had a question, a request, oh, I didn't want to skirt around it and say, oh, we're booked, or this, what have you. I needed to tell her honestly why we couldn't take care of her dog anymore. Yeah. And it's hard. It was hard. Yeah.
Yep. We had a situation come up where we did a meet and greet, and then they didn't use us for many, many, many months later. And then when they did request, we showed up, and the house had actually turned into a hoarding situation. And it was where we went, okay, well, we committed to this for this week. And we're going to be here, but I do have to tell the owner, why we can't take them on anymore. And that was not fun. I really struggled. That one was, I think, one of the hardest ones we've had to do, because trying to say it without judgment and with love and compassion, and a level of understanding, but also being firm and saying, we can't move forward with this. This is not okay for us to be here. And that really, I mean, we sat on that for a couple days later after we got finished, and just had to go, it's the kind, honest thing to do. And we've got to send this for ourselves, the team, and the client too.
Right. And it's hard. Those are the hard times. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you talked about honesty and reliability, open-mindedness. What's the next one, Amy?
So our last core value is passion and fun. Is that this is our passion. All of it. Everybody on our team, or all of the employees, we love animals. That's what has brought us here. And I sometimes we'll have team gatherings and stuff, and I might have some team members that are shyer or not as outgoing as others. And I always just say, just come and be with everything. If anything, we all have our love of animals in common. And it's hard, right? Because our team doesn't know each other until they get to know each other, but they don't work together side by side, like in a normal office setting or what have you. So it's, that's what I always say. Like, that's the animals that's our deep love, and that's our deep passion. And then just general fun. I know that, sometimes it's a job. It is a job, and it's not always great. It rains out here all the time. Now, we don't have to deal too much with the snow and ice or the super hot temperatures, but I'll tell you, 8 months out of the year, it's dark and wet out here. And just being wet just gets old. You pick up poop. That's part of the job. It's not always the best part of it. But the reality is, and I remind myself this all the time, is that we get to play with dogs and cats all day long. Yeah. And sometimes you'll hear, like, people think all we do is play with dogs and cats all day long. The thing is, we do play with dogs and cats all day long.
It's technically true.
I know, right. Not always fun. And we have to work on weekends, and we have to work on the holidays, and we do have to pick up poop. And sometimes they throw up, and sometimes they die or they move away, and that's heartbreaking. But they're dogs and cats. Like, we should be having fun and really being grateful and embracing that. Like, let's have fun with this.
Yeah. There's some things that can be very invigorating about that fun aspect. One of the things I've really grown to enjoy over the past couple of years as we have grown our team is when I'm training people, and I get to see that level of excitement that they have. And it's like something unlocks in them of, like, they have found their thing, and they've realized what this is. And it's been a reminder to me of, even though I've been in this for, coming up on 13 years, not quite 25, but 13 years, like, I still have to remind myself of, like, I need to bring that each visit, because A, it's true. I do get to play with dogs and cats all day. And B, like, that's what the pets deserve. Like, they don't need me showing up, kind of schlepping in, being like, okay, whatever, I'm going to be over here, and then ignoring them or not bringing that to it. Because then I'm not doing a good service to the pet or the owner.
Yeah, that's a great reminder too, right? Yeah, like, they deserve that. That's that's why we're hired to do. But also, the dogs and most cats want that. They want us to be there. They want us to be interacting with them and playing and what have you with them. Yeah.
Well, and I love this core value, especially in the context of what you started off talking about when you had that conversation with your husband, and he said, this isn't going to be some high school, part-time gig thing. And you said, no, professionalism. So Amy, how have you walked that line and balanced the level of professionalism versus fun? And how do you work those into every day?
For sure. I would say fun doesn't mean, casual or lazy or, non-committed. I don't know. I'll think of other words. The way we are professional is that we have professional forms. We have we have our systems lined up. We have a process when we onboard new clients. We share our service agreement with them. Then we have them enroll into our software. Then we go and meet them. And then every visit gets a report, gets a professionally, casually, but nicely well-written report on what was done during that time. Hey, Fluffy, whatever. We went for our walk today. It was super sunny. We saw flowers along the way, and he smelled some he ate a little bit of grass. And he's doing great. We had a great day. Pictures all the time. We're professional in that we're consistent in those standards. We always do all those things. We send invoices on a timely manner. We offer different ways to accept payments. And then the bonus is we do get to have the fun. We get to enjoy our time with them. And I give my team I empower them a lot and just kind of let them be themselves and bring their personalities to their care. So like when they're writing their updates and stuff, it's so fun on my side to read what they're writing. Like I have a couple of people on my team who notice flowers on their walks all the time. And they'll just say, oh, this is blooming. And she knows flowers. I can't even name them. I'm like, this flower, there's a yellow one, yeah. The yellow flowers are up today. Yeah.
Same,
then,
Amy.
Yeah, I know. And I like to garden, but I'm not good at that. But she'll take pictures along the way and she'll kind of give updates. We always seem to give lots of weather reports, oh, the sun, especially if the sun's shining out here, because the sun doesn't always shine out here. The sun's shining right now, or it was a beautiful sunny day, or look at our shadows, kind of thing. And I empower my team to feel comfortable to bring their personalities to that kind of situation, and let their enjoyment of the job shine through in that.
No, because we're right. We have to. We've been learning this lesson a lot. We have people who have different writing styles and abilities, and they focus on different things. And at first, when we were hiring, it was very jarring because it was like, that's not how I would write my update. Why didn't you mention this thing? And what we learned is that our clients love the diversity of reports that they get from our team. Absolutely adore it. And it adds a variety to the client's life too.
Right.
And it's not, because that's at the end of the day, who's getting this? The dog isn't reading our report, so they don't care. But the person, they get 3-4 different reports every day about how things are going sometimes. And it's like, that's enjoyable for them. And I'm not sitting over my team's shoulder going, don't write that. No, you need to write it in this way. That kind of squelches the fun out of what they get to do in talking about what the great experience that they just had.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't want to edit them or proofread them. I don't want to get into that. Luckily I haven't ever had a situation where I've had to that's a little off. Now this is not quite what I haven't ever had that. It seems like everybody on my team just kind of gets it and knows what to say. I think one of the best compliments or the best thing that I get is when clients will say, I'm on vacation and everybody in my family can't wait for the updates to see what's happening back home with the dog. I think that's just so awesome. And so they're looking. So sometimes, when I first started this, we had paper. I would have like a memo paper and just write a little report after every visit. So then at the end, when people came home, they just had like a log of everything I did each day. But then as texting came around and now software, then I started doing updates via the phone and that kind of thing. So it's really kind of fun to see how that's like evolved into this. And for a little bit, I used to think, gosh, I hope I'm not, 3 to 4 visits a day. Sometimes we're visiting animals when they're on vacation. I'm like, are we bothering them too much? Are they, do they want that many updates? And we seem to always, yes, they do. They enjoy them. Yeah. Yeah. They love the pictures. They love the updates and yeah.
No, it is a good reminder that is something we get to do. And again, that's a word that I have to remind myself of. I get to report on this and I get to do this and try to encourage our team to do that and to show that personality, because that's part of the fun that we have and our clients get on their end too.
Right. Yeah.
In closing here, Amy, have you maybe talk to us about a challenge that you had to in facing or standing up for one of your core values through your business and sticking to it and holding to it for whatever reason.
Yeah. I think it would probably be more like it would kind of touch into more of my personal stuff. I would probably bring up like a COVID situation or COVID timing. I just remember when COVID first hit and we got shut down out here. I know that different areas of the country got shut down at different levels or what have you, but we were totally shut down. Like kids came home from school and they were out of school for almost a year. We did online schools. So, and I just remember it was like 2 or 3 days worth of just cancel, just phone calls and emails just coming in. And my cousin called me and she's in Texas and we were just talking and I just broke down. I thought, what is happening? What is happening? And so just talking with other friends about like, gosh, my company's really taken a hit during all this. And so I got a lot of suggestions from other people about what I could do during this time. And it was like, maybe you could offer taxi service or pick up dog food from people when they're, if they don't want to go out or what have you. And there were a lot of, or sell gift certificates. I just, maybe you could sell for future service kind of thing. And although the suggestions were really good, I wasn't comfortable with them. So it was sort of that keep it simple. And it's that whole thing, trust my gut, be Amy. Like none of those suggestions were resonating with how I wanted to deal with that situation. So I think just like remembering, instead of trying to force it and trying to go with those suggestions and try to force it and make those work, I just said, no, those are all great ideas. I think we're going to do this instead. So what we ended up doing was I just kind of reached out and we did a big pet food drive where I just contacted all my clients and said, hey, we're going to be collecting pet food. If you want to buy some, leave it on your front porch and we'll swing by and we'll take it to the different food banks. We have like 3 food banks in our area. We service a big county, so in the different areas, and then we just dropped them off. That kind of helped me focus and get through that time. I mean, it didn't help. It didn't bring any money, and it didn't help anything like that. But it just kind of helped me focus. So I guess just like, I was kind of being suggested ideas on what to do, and I just didn't feel them. It just didn't feel like me, or it didn't feel like something how I wanted to handle the situation. Well, so I think just being true to myself, I was able to hone in on really how I wanted to process my own, our own time through that.
Well, that's a good reminder too of the fact that many of these boundaries attempt to get pushed by people with the best of intentions.
For sure.
And the most well-meaning of individuals or other businesses or clients or staff, like they have the best intentions to offer something. And this kind of thing of going, just be me, means right. I don't have to pick up anything that you're putting down and I'm going to be okay with that. Right. And
right. Exactly. Yes. That's great. Yeah. I love how you said that. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And they did. And their intentions were good. Yeah. I mean, they were just, everybody kicked in and everybody was trying to offer support and help for everybody. And how during that COVID time, that was so weird and awful. So yeah, it was that 100% that what they were suggesting were good ideas. I'm not taking away from that.
Yeah. It's just not for me, right? And that's part of our learning experience as we develop these core values for both our personal and our business life. Of we get to define them, as you've said at the beginning of sometimes that's not important to me anymore, or sometimes I'm adapting this to a new phase of life, or sometimes I'm rephrasing this or learning how it applies in these situations, and that's just part of this continual process. You even said this is an organic list. It's never static. And because I'm never static and the world never is either. So I'm always learning how these things come up. And that should be very freeing to us. I feel like it should be very freeing and open to know that I'm not locked. I don't have to make a decision now and then live with it for the next 80 years. Like, no.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I'll remember when I was 22 and I made that decision and now I'm 65 and I can't go back on it. Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah.
I even wrote them down on a piece of paper and everything.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I can't.
I know, right? Yeah. It's practically dust now, but I'm holding true to that.
Well, Amy, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, sharing with us the values and that guide you and your business and encouraging us to find those for us and some of the challenges that you face and working through those, and that's constantly a balance of knowing what to do and how to follow those in the right way. I know that this is a pretty big topic, and so if people are interested in following you or reaching out to you and picking your brain and getting connected about these, how best can they do that?
Oh, I would love that. That would be awesome. I'd love to talk about this. Thank you again for having me. You are so easy to talk to. I wish we were in the same room. I could give you a hug after we're all doing this. It's just, to contact. So my website is the company name, Leash for Lease. That's the number 4. So LEASH, the number 4, LEASE.com. Email is the same, leashforlease@gmail.com. And then we're on socials. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Leash for Lease Professional Pet Care.
Cool. Well, I'll have all those links in the show notes and on the website so people can get connected with you, Amy, and follow along. This has been, I've just absolutely loved this conversation. I'm so thankful for you coming on the show today. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great time. Yeah, I've had a great time too. Thank you.
I loved when Amy said that fun doesn't mean casual or lazy. It's about embracing the joy in what we do while staying true to our professional standards. This is what we get to walk through and how we present ourselves to our clients. We get to have fun. This is the most fun job in the entire world. And it brings us so much joy. Is every little detail, quote unquote, fun? No. There are tough times. There are certainly hard times. There are difficult decisions and conversations that we have to have. But boy, does it bring us joy to serve others and help pets. That's what we put at the center of everything that we do. Every SOP, policy, hire, new direction, branding, messaging, all of that links back to joy. When we give people joy, how special that truly is, especially when it's ourselves. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet and Pet Perennials, for making the show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.